Hello, my name is Eduardo and I am here with another tutorial for App Inventor. And today I will show you this little game that I did. It is based on this kind of old games like the Game & Watch games. Well, let me show you the game. So the idea here, first, I will show you here in Inkscape. So I did just something like background, and I did a submarine that is based on a famous submarine from the Atari 2600. Okay, so it is pretty basic, and then I just here did like a cannonball or something. Okay, so well, then I have just here a message to touch to start, and that's it. Well, so I haven't finished this, but I will do it in this case. I will show you the app. Here you just touch, and that's it. You have this kind of submarine, and you touch right, you touch left, and that's it. And this is when you touch, I mean, at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so I am using just this thing. Okay, if you touch in this area, okay, that it's below the submarine, well, you can move it. So now to fire, you have to touch the upper part of the screen. So it is like I guess it is 80%. If you touch a minor value from 80%, you can't shoot. You have 3 balls that you can shoot. These are 3 different sprites. So, and again, I move here and I touch here, and you will shoot. Of course, I need enemies and these things, okay? And I also, if I touch the top part of the screen, well, I just have like this kind of reset, and that's it. And again, you touch to start, and that's it. So well, in this case today, I won't show you how to. In this case today, I won't show you how to make this. Well, for today, I will show you just the blocks and just going to try to explain you. At the beginning, I thought that this kind of game was going to be easy, but it was a little bit hard for me. And I am using a different approach from the other game that I showed you, that it was the other platform video. Okay, so in that case, I was using a lot Inkscape. So today I use a different approach, okay? And I will explain you a little bit about these things. So first, here we have, let me increase a little bit this, that's it. The first thing that we have here is to set the values, okay? The default values to start the game. The first thing that I created is just a procedure to load the submarine defaults. So here I just, let's go first to the designer. If you check here, we have a label. Well, I was using the label just to test some things, some values, but don't worry. Now you have the canvas, fill parent, and then I have this. I have my sprites. This is for the submarine and the balls. And also I have a sprite for the touch, the message. Then I have 2 sounds and 1 clock. Well, I don't remember if I use the clock. I will tell you. Then we go here to the blocks, and the first thing, the values for the submarine, the position, the size. So I am using values from according to the percentage of the screen that I want them to use. For example, I set here for the height of the submarine, just here like the 12% of the screen, okay, for the width. And because this is like, I use this thing, okay, the width, it is times 2 because it's the double size of the width. So just to simplify things. And then I use global X and global Y just for the initial position for the submarine that is at in the middle of the screen. So just create for that those values. And then I set the position of the submarine, okay, in this, as I told you, in these initial positions, and that's it. Then I created a procedure that is the reset, that it will reset everything before to start the value. It is like start. So well, the idea here, if you check also, the start sprite is this kind of a message. The start like sprite to start the game is like a button. Then we have here the position for it. We set the submarine invisible, and we're going to load another procedure, okay, the low ball 2 and low ball 1. Well, let's go to low ball. Let me check. Here for the balls, I use 2 procedures. The first one, it's this one. I create, in this case, I create like a component, okay, for this. So for example, I can put it here, it's the same. So I load the balls like in a list, so just to set some properties to them at the same time. For example, here I made all the balls at the beginning invisible, and I just set the position of the balls next to the submarine. Okay, well, here we have a mistake, the X position, and that's it. And then I just set this value, that is the current ball. This is a variable that it will tell us which is the ball that is like ready to be fired. So then I call the initialize. In initialize, I use these values. The reset calls the low ball 2, and in the low ball it has the low ball. Well, you have all the values over there. And then I created some variables. This variable is the power current ball. Well, I explained you about the current ball. That is the ball that is ready to be fired. Then we have the power. So it will help us just to say, hey, you know, if there is power, if power is equals to 1, well, you can shoot or fire. If not, you cannot. And then I have 2 positions, okay, 2 variables for X position and Y position that I told you that are the initial positions for the submarine. Then we have here this, because we are going to be using the touch properties or the touch of block, okay, we will get the X and Y where we touch, for example, and we are going to use it in 2 new variables, that is X touch and Y touch. That I don't know where are they, but yeah, they are here. So we are going to get the coordinates or the values for X and Y touch, okay? So, and according to those values, we are going to set if we want to move the submarine or if we want to fire. So, well, so we are going to use this. At the beginning, you set them to 0, and then when you touch the screen, you will get these values from the canvas. Now we have here the procedure to move the submarine. Well, to move the submarine, I was using this. Just let me reduce this a little bit. Here you have first, we're going to the submarine. We are going to detect, okay, where we touch, okay, and if this touch position in X, it is higher or bigger than the position of the submarine in X, okay. So for example, remember when the values are bigger, okay, that means that you are getting close to the right side of the screen. So in this case, if it's bigger than the submarine position in X, that means that you are touching to the right of the submarine. And also we need to check if the Y position, okay, of the touch, it is bigger than the 80% of the canvas size, okay. So that means that you are really close to the bottom part of the screen. So well, if this is true, okay, these two conditions are true, so that means that you are touching the bottom part of the screen and to the right of the submarine. Well, we are going to do this procedure. So we're going to update the position of the submarine in X, okay? So if the position of the submarine in X it's equals, okay? So if the position is equals to that it's in the middle, okay, so the initial position, then we're going to change the position to the 75% of the screen in the talking about the x-axis, okay? So that means that it will move, okay, to the right. So in this case, when you have a total of the screen, it will be like 100%. It will move in the x-axis to the right. So I am using here this, okay, just to position in the middle of the submarine, okay? So then we do else. What happens if it's in the other position? Well, you set it to the middle of the screen again. If it's in the middle of the screen you touch on the right side, well, so you move it to the 75% of the screen, okay? So that means that is 25% to the right. Else, so if it's in the right as the 70%, so you return it to the center. Now, and the other, it is quite similar, is when you touch, the position of the touch, it is at the bottom and it's on the left, at the left of the submarine, so you will move now to the left. So in this case, check. Now you are in the middle, the initial position, 0.5, so, I mean the 50% of the screen. So if you are in the 50% and I touch on the left, you will move to 20% of the screen. So that means to the left. Else, you return to the center. Just 3 simple positions for the submarine. And then you have here a sound every time you move. Very simple sound, and that's it. This is for the submarine. That, I think that was the easiest part. Well, no, it was not easy, okay, to be honest, for me, no, because I was like trying to make this thing not very complicated and not to use a lot of blocks, especially in this part. Okay. So what I guess it was okay, just using the percentages. And then we're going to go to update ball. This is when you can fire the balls. So well, you have some other things here. So as I told you, remember, let's start with the ball. Let's see what happened. Remember, the balls now at the beginning are invisible when we press start. So then we need to check if we have the global power. If we have global power, okay, so it is set like in 1, we are able to shoot. So we set this thing, power, when we touch this sprite. When we touch start, we set the variable global power to 1. So now we are able to shoot. Okay, so now ball 1, it is ready to be fired. So now here we have to check first if the touch is in a higher position, and that means that you are like in a value that is higher than the 85% of the screen. That is, I'm sorry, smaller. So that means that it's in the upper part of the screen. So, and also we check if the current ball is 1. Okay, well, we can fire this ball. Now we are going to use this. Pay attention first here, and then I will explain you this fraction. So first, when we touch, if we are in this condition to shoot, okay, we're touching the upper part. Well, check. In this case, the image sprite speed, we will change it to the, we're going to use here again, like kind of percentage. So checking the total of this screen. So something that I didn't show you is that we are going to use the speed from the sprites and the interval. This is like having a clock for each sprite. So here we have the same values, and that's it. At the beginning, speed is equals to 0. And then, so when we are able to fire, we touch and we fire. So we set the speed to the sprite, that is in the turn. For example, if it's number 1, well, the ball number 1, it will fire. Here with the speed, it will move. It will move every time that we set in the interval. Okay, so I set it to 1500 just to make it look like if it's like these old games, okay, that they move little by little, okay, appearing in the next position. So then here we have this. It will move the X. You need to set it the X position in the submarine position. So and that in that way it will look like it was fired by the submarine. And visibility, if it's visible, you set it to true, okay, because all of them were like invisible. So now about this, well, do you do the same for the other ones? You set, for example, now that you fire number 1, you load number 2, okay, you are ready to fire number 2, and you use the same procedures, okay. So when you have 2, when you finish, you set this to 3, okay, so the ball 3 is ready to be fired. And again, when you finish number 3, you set the ball to number 1, you set it ready to be fired number 1. And in this one, I set global power to 0. Okay, that means that if all the balls are flying, but they will be like, you won't fire until one of them reach the edge. Okay, well, now about this random fraction, it is something that I learned from the Meet website, okay, from the App Inventor. So it is basically this idea. If this random fraction, it will return, okay, a random number between 0 and 1. So every time I touch the screen. So for example, imagine that here you have to be having like this kind of probability. If this value, it is smaller than 0.6, well, you will have this speed. But if you don't have a value that is smaller than 0.6, well, you will use this kind of speed. Okay, that will give you like some variety, okay. So, and it will look like balls are not moving at the same speed all the time, okay. And I do the same for the other ones and just play with a little bit with the values. So, and I guess it's interesting to use this thing to add some kind of randomness to your game. As I told you, when you fire the last ball, you have the global power to 0. Okay, so you cannot fire anymore. But unless your ball, for example, ball number 1, that was the first one that it was fired, okay, reaches the edge. Okay, in that case, okay, the upper edge, if you reach the ball, it will reset the ball, ball number 1, and it will reset its values. So speed to 0, visible to false, and the coordinates to the submarine position. And you do the same for the rest of them. So, and then here you set the global power to 1 because you have now one ball ready to be fired. So I do the same for all of them, and that's it. Here I have the reset or the reset. Okay, so here if the position in Y, remember the touch, when I touch here, it is smaller than or is less than the canvas 1 height times 2, and that means the 20% of the screen, so it is at the top of the screen, you will call the reset procedure. That's it. That's the way this thing it is working. I mean, I'm not sure if it is very understandable, but I will give you, I will share with you the blocks, okay, in case you want to try this. And for the next tutorial, I will show you how to make this, but using more Inkscape, okay, to show you the other game that I did, okay, with this kind of squares. That was this kind of explanation about this submarine game or Game and Watch kind of game. So I hope you enjoy it, okay? And if you have any comments or questions about this, please let me know them. And I hope I can finish this about the enemy section so soon. So my name is Eduardo, and thanks for watching this. See you next time.